Just when everybody was ready to give up on the Birds, and especially Kevin Patullo, Jalen Hurts took control, opening up Philadelphia's passing game and shredding the Rams in the second half. It sounds like A.J. Brown knows the real reason why the offense looks so night and day different at times on Sunday. Plus, Saquon struggles continue, Philadelphia's DBs shut down Stafford and DeVonta Adams, and now Jordan Davis pulled off the most improbable comeback in recent Eagles history. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. Philadelphia looked like the worst team in maybe the entire National Football League through 2 quarters on Sunday. Jalen Hurts couldn't throw, Saquon couldn't run, the offensive line couldn't block, Kevin Patullo definitely couldn't coach. Heck, even the defensive line was getting gashed nearly every single run. But then Jalen Hurts had a little conversation with Kevin Patullo, and everything changed. The Birds roared back in the second half, needing not 1 but 2 blocked field goals by Jordan Davis to sink the Rams and stay undefeated, one of the wildest games in recent Eagle history.
This was the wildest by far. Craziest. Well, I don't know any sport. I'm trying to say from my experiences, This was the wildest comeback.
And so to celebrate the wild comeback and Jordan Davis's big day, I'm going to go ahead and pick one person who drops a like, is subscribed, and comments JD down below to win a Jordan Davis jersey of your choice. So drop a like, be sure to comment, and we'll get to the Jordan Spectre giveaways later on this week. I'm going to pause that for a second because I want to give away a Jordan Davis jersey. Also, Alexander Kleminski, 754, you correctly predicted Jalen Hurts' first touchdown score and was randomly selected to win the Smitty Dagger trading card. So, Alexander, check my link down below in the description box. Email me, prove it's you, and I'll send this bad boy out as soon as possible. Now, I will get to the bad on this game because, trust me, that first half of football was the ugliest I've seen as an Eagles fan in a long time, especially on offense. Like, I remember some bad Brian Johnson games, but those first 2 quarters were downright unwatchable. But I've got to give credit to Jordan Davis because even block kicks aside, JD had an absolute career day with 5 tackles, 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit, and that huge TFL of Kyren Williams on 4th down and 1. And obviously, of course, the block kicks, where he became the heaviest player in NFL history at 336 pounds to return a block kick 50-plus yards, getting to over 18 miles per hour. And that block kick was obviously one for the ages. As JD said after the game, they talked about needing the perfect technique to pull it off, and they were able to do so.
You know, it came down to just the technique and the fundamentals of everything. A lot of people look at field goal block as just another play, just another down, put your hands up, get off the field, check a box. But the way we talked about it on the sideline, we knew, especially off his last kick, we knew his angle. We knew his launch point when it's at the 30-yard line, somewhere around there. And we just hit the gap, put our hands up at the right time, and then I seen the ball on the ground, and then at that point, I knew it was a no-Mott situation, but we just took off from there. I wanted possession, so I wanted to make sure that we ended the game right. Didn't know I was going to go that fast, didn't know I was going to make it all the way to the end zone. Just started running, and my legs carried me from there.
Jordan Davis has been heavily criticized ever since being drafted in Philadelphia. It's not because he's ever been terrible, he's just not lived up to the hype of being the 12th overall draft pick. This year, though, through 3 games, with that game on Sunday, he is starting to actually live up and look like a first-rounder. And if that's the Jordan Davis we get the rest of the season, he's in for a massive contract extension heading into 2026.
It's been in the making from, like, the beginning of last season, like the extra workouts, the Peloton, eating right, all this stuff. And, you know, I always say the quote, Rome wasn't built in a day. Like, the work that was being put in last season, y'all couldn't see it then until about the end point. And, you know, I think it was just perfect timing, and I never really tracked my progress of, like, you know, how I feel or anything. I just tracked my progress of results. I came in, I weighed in my weight range. I feel good in my body. OTAs, I was feeling great. Camp, feeling great, getting more plays under my repertoire. So, and then just the coming from year 2 off of Vic's plan, his scheme, understanding his defense and what he wants and what he expects of his players. And I think all of that is just a combination of just keep chipping away at it. You just have to keep chipping away at it. Even when you feel like you're there, you have to keep going. And I think that's the point I'm at. It's just keep going, just keep going, just keep going.
Jordan, you know, I know you guys have talked a little bit, and because you've asked me about this, has worked so hard to get himself in great shape to be able to play the amount of snaps he played and then have all that last to get, you know, a block kick and to scoop and score and to get in the end zone. Pretty remarkable. He just worked his butt off. And you saw that in training camp that, you know, something like this would happen, and he's played good football through the first 3 weeks.
Philadelphia's defense as a whole answered a very difficult call on Sunday as LA had 5 drives starting at their own 46-yard line or better, despite giving up 26 points early, rallied in the second half, and allowed 0 points after about 10 minutes to go in the third quarter.
The first half and really the first 2 possessions of the second half offensively and defensively, it couldn't have went much worse. Now, we did a great job on defense, holding them to 3 points and keeping the game manageable, where if we just kept fighting and kept clawing, that we'd have a chance, and got some big stops there in the second half.
And honestly, shout out to the secondary for also hanging on. Like Puka Nacua, clearly he got his. DeVonta Adams did a nice job pushing off of Reed Blankenship here for a touchdown, but to hold Matthew Stafford to just 19 of 33 for 196 yards cannot be understated. As Quinyon Mitchell shadowed 1v1 versus DeVonta Adams nearly all game long, only allowed 2 catches for 12 yards on 5 targets. So clearly, once again, he's definitely QB1. Heck, even Adoree Jackson, before he got hurt, had his best game of the season, only giving up 3 catches on 4 targets for a measly 23 yards. Philadelphia is an elite defense. They're going to be a top 5 unit literally the entire season. They have the talent. Vic Fangio, Zach Bond was fantastic. Barely talked about him so far. My one criticism, though, is they got to get more sacks. Like, the pass rush is really good. They're getting close to all these quarterbacks. They almost got to Stafford multiple times. They've got to start getting quarterbacks on the ground, more sacks, and this defense is going to be maybe number 1 in the entire league. Also, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video, SeatGeek. Actual regular season NFL games are finally here, which is fantastic, but it means you have only so many games left to watch the Eagles in person. And whether or not it's your first time going to the link or your 50th time, SeatGeek has been my go-to place for all of my Eagles tickets. Plus, if you don't want to go to an Eagles game, there's plenty of other Philadelphia-based events like Phillies and the upcoming Flyers and Sixers seasons, as well as non-sporting events like comedy shows and music festivals. SeatGeek has over 70,000 listed events. And honestly, my favorite part is the fact that SeatGeek's rating system makes it so darn easy to find the best deals on tickets, because they rank every single ticket on a scale from 1 to 10, with green dots, as you see here, meaning the best deals, yellow and red, not so much. And by now, you should know this. A lot of you guys have used my promo code, but if you want 10% off your tickets with SeatGeek, use my promo code MOTT10. All you gotta do, click the link down below in my description box, download the SeatGeek app, add MOTT10 to your profile, that automatically does it, or use it at checkout, go and start saving and getting really good tickets with SeatGeek. Oh, and also maybe stop the run, like 160 yards on the ground for LA. It's not gonna cut it moving forward. Oh, maybe one other little thing. Why did the Birds let Isaiah Rodgers go? Like, all he wanted was $6 million, and how he instead decided to pay Azeez Ojulari, John Mechie, and Adoree Jackson a combined $6.5 million this year. Definitely a rare Howie L. The other big L so far has been the Eagles' kick return game, because what I watched on Sunday between Tank Bigsby and John Mechie is absolutely undefendable. You have got to figure this out, Michael Clay, because for whatever reason, even though it's a squib kick, they're hard to catch. Your professional kick returners catch the football. Oh my gosh, the kick return game was terrible. Still, though, wasn't as terrible as the entire Birds offense in the first half, because following that short field touchdown to start the game, Philadelphia's offense went 3 and out 4 straight times before the half, and even started quarter number 3 with a strip sack that really should have been the nail in the coffin. Those first 2 quarters on Sunday, Philadelphia couldn't run the football, they couldn't pass the football, and they couldn't block up front. They could do nothing on offense. However, I do think the comeback proved one specific thing, that is that Kevin Patullo, through 3 weeks, has really been the main problem. Now, why do I think KP is the problem? Well, first off, through the first 2 weeks overall heading into Sunday, KP's entire philosophy, as said to the media, has been to stay efficient and don't turn the ball over. And his play calling, route design, they've 100% reflected that. 0 flavor, 0 spark, and 0 down the field or over the middle shots. And that was the same case for the first half versus the Rams on Sunday. But then this moment happened where Jalen Hurts was on camera seemingly going up to Kevin Patullo and asking for a change. And what do you know? Patullo opened things up and the vertical passing game, the Birds offense, came alive. Pair that with the fact that Nick Sirianni had a very interesting quote after the game where he was asked, "What did you guys do on offense to change things up?" And he basically said, "I did nothing. That was all Kevin Patullo and Jalen Hurts."
I'm not going to take any credit for that. Jalen, Kevin, and the offensive staff did a great job of finding things that worked and got us out of the rut that we were in. Any communication with the quarterback is going to be critical. He's the one who's going to give you confidence to, call the things that you need to call. Good question for Kevin, because obviously I'm doing the things there. I can't take any credit in that. Those guys did a great job of adjusting and finding the right things to do in that scenario.
And if you want even more proof, not just Sirianni, listen to what A.J. Brown said here in a very mature team leadership way after the game. He basically admitted straight up, this offense has been way too conservative.
Me personally, so it shouldn't be like that.
Now, of course, A.J. Brown also said post-game that we can't just blame Kevin Patullo, that there's 11 guys on offense, they have to execute, and so he was very mature. Really great press conference yesterday, but still, A.J. Brown hinted at it, Jalen Hurts hinted at it, Nick Sirianni hinted at it. this offense has been so conservative, it's hurt them in the long run, and they must change that and be more like the second half going forward. I mean, look at Jalen Hurts' passing chart here. He completed 7 of 9 passes that went over 10-plus yards in the air in the second half for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. Over his first 10 quarters of football this season in 2025, Hurts had just 2 completions on 7 passes of 10-plus air yards. Like, Jalen Hurts can sling it. He just needs the green light. And once he got it, he diced up the Rams secondary, including, most importantly, the middle of the field, showcasing exactly what Philadelphia's passing attack can be when allowed to do so.
I think it's important as offense in general to make it about what you do as an offense and not necessarily the opponent. There are a lot of great defenses, a lot of exotic looks you may get. There may be someone who chooses to attack us in a certain way, and it's about having the built-in things to respond to those things when they come. Playing within the system, playing within your roles, playing within what you're coached to do, and making sure that we're coached to execute it in a advantageous and high leverage way. But also just playing within ourselves. And I think in the second half, when pressure was as high as it was, we kind of just let it loose and went out there and played. And that's the brand of football we played along the years for a long time. So I don't necessarily want to make it harder than what it is. We just got to go out there and execute and play the style of football that we know we can play.
Jalen's 19-point comeback is the largest of his career, and he's now not lost a game where he started and finished in 357 days. Jalen Hurts is literally becoming the modern Tom Brady, at least when it comes to winning and being clutch. The Eagles coaches simply just have to let him be himself. If they do that going forward, this offense in the second half is going to be what you see the rest of the season. Kevin Patullo just needs to look himself in the mirror and basically understand that you can't have an all-pro receiver, a Heisman Trophy winning receiver, a top 5 tight end, this offensive line, Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts, and play conservative. It's just not going to work. I get the idea, let's just get a lead and not turn the ball over and be smart, and that's fine. But this offense, it's way too dynamic to just, slowly vanilla walk down the football field. And I do think once you get A.J. Brown the ball, things are different. And hopefully KP learned that by watching the second half on Sunday.
I don't mean this in a negative way, but we just got the ball, and I think it's that simple, and we just made plays and kept the momentum going, We got a lot of good players, and we believe that, we can do really some special things, man, and obviously it's just really about being on the same page, but, we'll run the ball, play action, this and that, but, let us go hoop, let us go hoop, and let's have fun, I think, but obviously what do I know? I'm a receiver. He's the coach. He has a lot more to deal with, and I never caught an NFL game, so.
Once Philadelphia started throwing the football to A.J. Brown, everything changed. He has the ability to completely take over a game. And his 6 catches for 109 yards and a touchdown happened to be the exact same stat line he had versus the Rams last year in Week 12. Pretty interesting how when he catches the football, good things happen. Oh, and plus, don't forget about DeVonta Smith. He had 8 catches. All of them seem big and important, especially this clutch route and catch on 4th and goal. We forget about this to even give the Birds a chance to win in the end. Now, going back to being critical for a second here, it is absolutely critical for Philadelphia's run game to get it going and figure it out. I know we've been complaining about the passing attack, but Saquon Barkley has had 0 running lanes up front, and it feels like no momentum the past few weeks. And obviously, it starts with guys like Jordan Mailata, who said post-game they got punched in the mouth by the Rams front 4 and have to actually be able to adjust earlier and more often and start helping out Saquon Barkley.
I think we found some stuff in our DNA where we have that fight. I think we, especially on offense, we were a little bit undisciplined and not detailed enough in the run game. So that I look at it as more the negative highlight, to see where we can get better at. Because that first half was unacceptable. Communication was not there. We weren't playing to our standard. I thought we were very passive up front. We weren't handling business like we usually do. And I thought the message heading out into the second half was that we needed to be more aggressive and just finish our blocks. And I thought once we started stringing along those plays, we started to find that groove again and what is known to be our Philadelphia Eagles online identity. And I think we just have to be real with when we watch that tape tomorrow about who we are as an offensive line. And did we start off the game punching people in the mouth, or did we get punched in the mouth? Because I think they came out there with a great game plan, punched us in the mouth, and it took us a whole half to react.
We just started executing. We started getting drives going, creating first downs, creating some momentum. When you aren't able, we had, I think, after the turnover, we had 10 plays and score. And then I don't even know how many drives after that we went 3 and out. I don't care who you are, how talented you are, who's the play caller. Like, that's almost impossible. So we got things going and found a way to get a win.
Oh, side note, also, shout out to Fred Johnson for literally coming in and saving the Birds season because Matt Pryor was trying to throw that game on Sunday for Philadelphia. Lane Johnson went down with a neck injury early in this game that reportedly, as of this morning, is just a stinger and should not limit him at all coming into the Bucs this week. Thumbs up for that. But Fred Johnson reportedly had not practiced at all on the right side of the offensive line all offseason long. And yet when Matt Pryor struggled, obviously no clue why they played him for so long, but they did. They put in Fred Johnson, and honestly, he answered the call in a major, major way.
I have no idea. All I knew is my number was called, and, got to deliver when your number called, no matter the circumstance, no matter the weather, no matter how you feeling, how you woke up that morning. The number called, my brothers need me. I got to deliver. I got to execute.
Great trade by Howie, to get Fred here. And I just know that Howie is relentless in what he does of always helping this football team get better. He saw a need for us, what we needed with Fred there, and went out and did the things he needed to do to get him. I'm so appreciative of Howie and having a partner in this thing that, I feel like I'm relentless. I know he's relentless, and just having a guy that you trust so much there. And Fred did a great job, just like Fred did last year in certain situations.
This football game gave me so many different emotions because I was ready to quit on the entire season through 2 quarters, and then now I think they're going to win the Super Bowl 2 quarters later. Either way, 3-0 is fantastic, but they've got to improve, right? They hopefully are going to channel what went wrong in this game, fix it, and make sure that they start fast going forward, throw the football better going forward, block better going forward, stop the run better going forward. Like, for everything that was great late in this game, there was a lot that had to happen to even come back, block 2 kicks, and win. And my hope is it wakes these guys up and gets them ready to go for the rest of the season. Like, whether or not it's the second half of the Cowboy game or large stretches of the Chiefs game, Philadelphia's offense has struggled for the most part of the season. And fixing it is going to take a total team effort, from Nick to Jalen to obviously Kevin Patullo. I, for one, am very confident they'll fix it soon, just based on the strong words during the post-game press conference where everybody took a lot of blame and said things must change.
I didn't do a good enough job today. We found a way to win, but, we all have to find ways to get better, to put points on the board, to make sure stall-outs don't happen. This is football, though. There are ups, there are downs, and you just got to find ways to keep moving forward.
I'm not proud of how we started the game. I'm not proud of the flow in which we played, the execution and the focus that we had earlier in the game. But I am proud of everybody not giving up.
Oh, and side note, I will say this, Nick Sirianni, you have to give him a lot of credit too, because he's now 4-0 all-time against Sean McVay. Like, everyone in the national media would pick Sean McVay as a better coach than Nick Sirianni. Yet here we are, Nick Sirianni also has won a Super Bowl, and now has beaten the guy 4 straight times head-to-head, and most of the games besides Sunday have not been that close. And listening to Nick Sirianni's players after the game give him tons of praise for keeping them motivated in the locker room at halftime to even stay in this one further cements the fact that Nick Sirianni is an elite head coach and loved by his players in Philadelphia.
Yeah, just the way Sirianni leads us, I don't think we'll ever pack it in and give up. We're going to fight till the very end. He talked about it, a team that doesn't give up, a team that keeps coming is a scary team, and that's what we did today. Just shout out to offense, defense, special teams for trusting one another, having each other's back. Defense played a great second half, too, when we needed them to. Needed a few stops, and they were able to get them. And, ultimately, that's what decided the game.
It's a dangerous thing. And Coach Sirianni, I'll say, he talks about it's a dangerous thing when a group never gives up. And this group never gave up. And that's what I'm very proud of. And I think a win like this is encouraging, but it also lights a fire under everybody to strive for the level of execution that we want.
Now, quickly on the injury front, as mentioned, Lane Johnson should be fine with that neck stinger. Darius Cooper left with a shoulder injury. Adoree Jackson missed the final couple of drives with a groin. All should be okay, but as of filming early on a Monday, we're waiting for updates. What I will keep an eye on the next couple of days is Tampa Bay wide receiver Mike Evans, who left Sunday's win versus the Jets with a pretty bad hamstring injury, and early indications are it's pretty severe. We have to wait and see if he's going to be out a couple of weeks, missed the game on Sunday, but Philadelphia could use all the help they could get to maybe break the curse of road games in September against the Bucs. All in all, I want your guys' thoughts on this game down below. Like, I was really ready to get rid of Kevin Patullo. I thought internal coaching hires must be outlawed in Philadelphia the rest of human history. Like, it's just been so bad between Brian Johnson and first 2 quarters of that game, Kevin Patullo. But all it takes is Kevin Patullo listening to his players and just having an open mind. And it is his first time calling plays. And so, much like with brand new head coaches and new quarterbacks, maybe it takes a little bit of time. But if they start slow again and they do what they did in the first half again versus the Bucs, the Kevin Patullo fires are going to be raging once again. And so my hope is this was a wake-up call for the Birds to win a football game they shouldn't have, beat a really good team in the NFC, and get to 3-0. Because in the end, Jalen Hurts always says winning is all that matters, and the Birds are 3-0, and if they beat the Bucs on Sunday, have an inside track early, very early through the first month of the season to be the number 1 overall seed. Again, knock on wood, early, a lot can happen, but man, what an absolute crazy game last night. Now, of course, plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. I will give away the Jordan Spector art that we talked about last week. I just wanted to do a Jordan Davis jersey today because JD is unbelievable. I think he's going to be an Eagle for a long time, and a lot of you guys don't have his jersey. And so obviously get your comments down below, drop a like and subscribe for that. And stay tuned because the Birds are rolling. They're 3-0. And now we go to the Bucs this weekend. It's going to be a very tough task in hot Tampa Bay. We'll cover it all here on the channel. Thomas Mott. I almost lost my voice yesterday, as you guys can tell. Very excited. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.